Welcome again, and how are you this week? Normally we go overseas, don't we, for major crises. We go to the Ukraine, for example, and the butchery there. We go to Gaza and the genocide there. Or we go to Myanmar and the military oppression of the Burmese people there. But last week, three moments in our local history caused me a lot of concern. And I'm going to look briefly at them with you this morning. I don't want to be a news reporter or the like, but I think they're worth looking at from the gospel point of view. And I'm mainly concerned that we manage to continue to celebrate and promote and announce the kingdom of God for the good of all of us. And the first one was the claim of espionage that occurred of another country trying to cause division in this country. Another country sowing hostility and division between citizen and citizen, between group of citizen and groups of citizens. And I was only thinking, where is this coming from? Division. Even hatred. And I think it's coming from the evil spirit. I did a little bit of study of the theology of spirituality years ago. And one of the things I remember very well is that the work of the evil spirit is to divide, to weaken, to separate. Whereas the work of the good spirit is to build up, to unite, to strengthen. And as we know, we've said a couple of weeks ago, Satan is the prince of lies. And that's the way this infiltration, this espionage works. And it's a way of dividing a country, a culture, a people, so that they're weaker. And I think it's the work of Satan. And the other one I want to look at is this sovereign citizen. A fellow in Northern and Victoria who has taken on himself, and quite a few have, others have in this country, an imported, dangerous and false ideology from the US that everybody is above and beyond the law and everybody can do and whatever they like. And it reminds me very much of the story in Genesis, of the story of Adam and Eve, when they were tempted and they ate the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. When they wanted to become gods, when they wanted to be able to decide and do everything and know everything for themselves. And the fruit of that is they lost the garden. They lost the Garden of Eden. And also they lost one of their two sons. Cain killed Abel. The fruit of this being able to decide everything for oneself. And the third one was Sunday. And what happened in most of our major cities and some of the regional cities, where people gathered, many concerned about migration, many concerned about housing, many concerned about health. And it was an opportunity to present their concerns. But also, there was an element in there that was not concerned about anything but themselves. And the horrible image I still have, of a National Socialist, an avowed National Socialist, standing on the steps of our Parliament, given a microphone, and invited to harangue the gathered people, the gathered crowd. And then that same group went to Camp Sovereignty and exercised and showed their brutality. And all I could think of was Germany in the 30s. And that's how it started. grabbing the public discourse, and exercising maximum brutality to sow fear. And these three issues, I think, are related to this Sunday's coming gospel. Here we have Jesus saying, anyone who doesn't first hate father, mother, brother, sister, property, and his own life cannot be my disciple. And I was thinking, hang on, Jesus was a dedicated, totally faithful Jew, and he would be very aware of the fourth commandment. Honour your father and your mother. He also had his own, his own commandment. Love one another as I have loved you. Or love your neighbour as yourself. And so that Jesus would say this, I think, is another example of where Jesus exaggerates grossly to make a point. And the point here, I understand, is to be conscious of your attachments. Be conscious of your attachments. Father, mother, brother, sister, property, or your own life. And I think he's using the term there in an exaggerated way, rather like what we heard a couple of weeks ago. Do you remember? If you find that your hand is causing you to sin, cut it off and cast it away. Or if your eye is causing you to sin, pluck it out. Jesus wasn't advocating that we dismember ourselves. He was calling us to be attentive to what in our lives leads us away from the kingdom, away from Him, away from the good and the truth. And then later in the text, he says, anyone who wants to be a follower of mine and does not take up his cross cannot be my disciple. Again, what is the cross today? And I think, amongst the various other possibilities, but one of those things is what Jesus has also said so often in his teaching: be awake, be alert, be attentive. In other words, the call to be awake to what is going on in ourselves and in our world. Yeah, because conspiracy theories and fake news are abounding today. They're everywhere. Yeah. But so is truthful news. So is good news. So are good issues and events. And to be able to distinguish which is giving life, which is bringing us together, and which is causing destruction and division amongst us. And to be able to see, because conspiracy theories lead to fear, and fear can lead to hatred, and that's disastrous. We've seen that so much in Germany in the 30s. So we don't want that for our country, do we? So let's accept Jesus' invitation to be awake, to be alert, to be attentive, and to look critically with an eye of faith, and allow the Spirit to illumine us as regards what we see and what we hear, so that we promote life and promote the kingdom of God for the good of everyone. Thank you, and have a peace-filled week. See you next week. God bless.